When you do these matches, since you've been doing these no time limit matches like the Felipe match, which I think you really shine in those matches, but that's really for the cognoscente.
Yeah.
You know, that's really for the hardcore people that want to see.
It's not spectator friendly.
Right.
It's just to determine who's better at jiu-jitsu. But no time limit matches for spectators are just atrocious because who the f wants to watch 4 hours of jiu-jitsu? Like, most people don't want to watch 10 minutes of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
So who wants to watch like a 2-hour match? But they're important to have sometimes just to show who's the best, because you actually have to do jiu-jitsu and know how to do submissions. Well, not in the Felipe match because there wasn't a submission, but you have to be better at jiu-jitsu than the other guy. There's no stalling and playing tactics for 10 minutes and winning by advantage or 2 points. So they have their place, but to build the sport to a spectator sport is not. No time limit's not the way.
Well, it's not the way for spectators, but it is the way, as you said, to determine who's the best. And I think that's supposedly what jiu-jitsu is all about. Really, the early days of the UFC, there was no time limits because it was just like who wins. And that's the purest form of any martial art. It's like, you know, as soon as you have rounds, then you have people gaming the system. They try to win the round by sprinting in the last 30 seconds and really going hard, or, you know, trying to figure out a way to manage your time. You can't really do that if there's no time limit.
Which I think that has a place too, like points and rounds and stuff, because then you have the whole tactical element which comes into play.
Yeah.
But I think there's a place for both for sure. But spectators definitely need a time limit. They want to know like when this is going to be over.
It would be fucking wild though if all UFC fights had no time limit in this day and age. I mean, they would be brutal.
Yeah.
Didn't Hoist have like an hour and something match with chemo, I believe, like in one of the.
I don't think it was that long.
It was like something ridiculous.
It was.
Right?
It was pretty long, but only. I don't think it was that long.
Okay.
I don't. Find out how long the Hoist chemo match was. I think it just seemed long because it was so crazy.
Because he was finishing everyone so fast, and then he was the guys against chemo, and it was a little bit longer.
Tom Erickson had a match with Murillo Bustamante back in the day in one of the weird, you know, like offshoots, one of those little small companies that tried to make a big, like an MMA event. I think it was a no glove event too. It was back in those days, and I think that match went like an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, Murillo Bustamante was 185 pounds, and Tom Erickson was 300 pounds.
Yeah, he was a monster. I remember Tom Erickson.
There's a weird sound. Do you hear that? What is that, Jamie?
What?
That sound?
What sound?
You don't hear it?
No.
I hear like a feedback. You don't hear it?
You guys hear it?
You guys don't hear it?
No.
I'm okay.
Maybe it's just my headset. Hold on. Yeah. All right. I'll deal with it. But it's just, again, it's not fan friendly.
Yeah, I had my match with Keenan was an hour and 45 minutes. My first match.
Jesus.
That was my longest match. Yeah.
Hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
How'd that end?
I heel hooked him. Yeah.
Is there another fight?
That's actually an amazing story we have to go over.
Yeah.
That's how me and Mo first met.
Yeah.
He hired Keenan to beat me up.
So it was only 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So it was really one round in the UFC today.
Oh wow.
I feel like it felt like so much longer because Hoist was finishing everyone in like the first minute. He would just like hit a double leg and then strangle them when they turned around.
It was also so chaotic. And then, you know, it was so crazy because Chemo came in carrying a cross. Like, remember he had a cross on his back?
Yeah.
Like a giant wooden cross, like walked in with it.
Joe Son, right?
Joe Son.
Yeah, I remember. And that was one. I remember when Keith Hackney was just punching him in the balls. Like, those original UFCs were really no rules.
They were pretty crazy. Yeah, but you know that's really the birth of jiu-jitsu, and that's where for people in America, that's where they recognize like, oh my God, I don't know shit.
That's what got me into jiu-jitsu when I was like 7, 8 years old. I was watching the UFC, and it just happened to be a Hoist Gracie tribute, and there was like all the reruns of the early UFCs, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking do that when I get older. And then like for the longest time, I like wouldn't train. And I'll just like I'll hear Joe like breaking down how to do a Kimura. He's like, oh yeah, he needs to get his left hand here. And I like go with my buddy the next day. I'm like, fuck yeah, like shit works. I'm like fucking doing Kimuras with my fucking friends and shit.
It's really amazing how one martial art was. If you look at all the other martial arts, everybody wanted to be like Bruce Lee, the small guy who could beat everybody else. But in reality, the bigger people win. Like in any kind of fight involving striking and size and speed, it's just such a giant advantage.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is really the only thing where the smaller person actually can dominate a bigger person.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I was actually thinking about this recently. I don't know any other combat sport where you could have two elite level athletes and a 60, 70 pound weight advantage and the smaller guy wins consistently.